Hey guys, hopefully by now you've seen the first part of Gomer's video. If not, then scroll back and see if you can find part 1. This is part 2. So here I'm just giving you a little recap. This is the video from the first day I met him back in the beginning of February. And then here he is walking in March. So in my first video I kind of showed you how Gomer's walk changed from just his first farrier appointment, from getting his hooves trimmed. And that's what's gotten us, a lot of success. And then today I'm going to talk a little bit about what kind of physical therapy exercises we did and how those have been helping him as well. So in the next pictures, you'll see a still frame. So here he is. This was his just natural standing posture before, and here it is after. And then we'll look at the same thing from the front on, before, and then here's after. So I'm going to show you that again. So we're back to this first photo. My biggest goal starting out with Gomer was teaching him where square was, because you can see in this photo, like, his adopted natural posture is just not even remotely square. He throws that front left leg way out in front and wide, partially I think for balance, partially because he's had a nerve injury, so he just doesn't have as good of sensation in that part of his leg, so he's not 100% sure where the leg is, and that's where physical therapy treatment really comes into play. And so his owner did her exercises about twice a week. She said honestly she got him done about twice a week for a little over a month, and this is what he's standing like after. So that's a huge improvement. It's still kind of cocked forward and out a little bit, but it's so much more square than he was. And then here from the front you can see the difference too, with that leg way forward and wide before, and then we're still a little wide but much closer to that other hoof in the second one. So in the next few videos I'm going to show you kind of our progression for learning what square feels like and teaching a horse to find square, even weight bearing again. And then I'll also show you some of the strengthening exercises we've been doing to help him use that leg a little bit better. Alright, so our first step is gonna seem like way too obvious, but it really is this easy. So we're relearning what standing square feels like. I'm literally gonna walk him, let him stop in his kind of natural position, and then move his leg back to more of a square position. I'm going to play this video on loop while I talk about this, but it's when we first started with him, I would move his leg back, he would hold it for like 2 seconds, and then he'd be flinging it back out forwards. So with some treats and some patience from his owner, we've now worked up to holding that, probably up to 30 seconds, which is really a big improvement. And the reason we care about him standing square is it's going to prevent him having like compensatory secondary issues in that left leg and also in his right leg that is now bearing so much more weight as he's grazing, eating hay, doing whatever horses do all day. If he's putting all of his weight on that right leg most of the time, he's setting himself for early onset of degenerative issues in that right side, and he's also setting himself up for contractures and worse hoof anomalies in his left side that will just make things harder down the road for him. So over the last month and a half, his owner says she's realistically probably worked with him on this about twice a week, and with just that much we've seen quite a bit of improvement, which is really awesome. Alright, step 2 is finding square on your own. So I'm walking him, letting him stop, kind of in his natural posture, and then asking him to back up until he finds square and rewarding that. So this is a step up from me doing it for him, and this is really awesome. I was very excited that he was able to find this much easier on his own when I came out to work on him that second time. And now that he's able to find square pretty well, our third step is finding square and then shifting a little more weight onto that injured side. So you can see when he stands, like all of his weight's on his right leg. So this is a new one for him today. You're watching me show this to him for the first time. So I'm going to ask him again, because as soon as I shifted weight onto that left leg the first time, he threw it out wide. So I'm going to just ask him back to closer to square. And then I'm giving him, once we can get there, a really gentle weight shift, because that's really all he's able to tolerate right now. We'll get square, reward that, and then just really gentle pressure at his shoulder and a little bit at his head to shift his weight to his left. And that one he tolerated a lot better. Oh, there I pushed him too far. So we'll play that one more time. Because some of this you're watching me learning from him how far I can push him on day one. So the first time I asked for a weight shift, I asked for too much, and he's like, that was too hard. Let me spread out my base of support for balance. And then I'll ask him to find square again, because now we're kind of out of it. There we have square. Reward. Good boy, Gomer. And then I'm going to ask with just a super soft weight shift. There, he handles that much better. And then I'm going to try a second time, and I'm going to push too hard, and off he goes. He steps wide. So this is going to be super important homework for him going forward, because being able to shift his weight onto that left leg prepares him for being able to stand just on that front left leg, like when we need to lift his right leg up to pick out his hooves or for the farrier to come. And we want him to be able to do that as comfortably as possible, because that's really how we ensure long-term quality of life for a horse with a chronic injury like this, because he's not going to be ridden. He's going to be used for groundwork as a therapy horse. So my goals for him are really just soundness in the pasture and ability to perform all of the kind of vet and farrier needs to keep him healthy. Another exercise on Gomer's list was this stretch. I did a bad job and forgot to get a video of me doing it with Gomer, but here's a picture of the same stretch on a different horse. But because of the nature of Gomer's injury, the fact that his extensor muscles don't work so well or at all, the flexor muscles will get tighter and tighter and tighter as a result, because nothing is opposing them as he's standing and walking and moving around. So we work on this stretch just to try to keep as much mobility in that limb as possible, so we can decrease the clubbiness in that club foot and help to normalize that limb and prevent it from getting more contracted and causing him more disability. And then the last thing I'm going to show you guys here is just us working on some forequarter yields and some hindquarter yields. These are really good for him to just help with some proprioception, knowing where his limb is in space, and also strengthening the stabilizing muscles and helping with that weight shifting over that injured leg. I hope you'll appreciate too, when I ask him for his hindquarter yields, watch when he is nice and square in front, how easily he yields. And then when he's not so square in front, it's significantly harder. But I'm just going to let you guys watch through this and kind of pay attention for that. thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned a little bit more about nerve injuries and rehab with horses like Gomer. If you have any questions about anything you saw today or how things might apply to your own horses, please feel free to leave those questions in the comments, and I will get back to those as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.